Okay, so you're born and raised in Grinnell.
I was born in Oskaloosa and raised in Grinnell all my life.
Oh, okay. So. How long were you guys in Oskaloosa for?
I was just born there. I was there probably about a year, and then I've been in Grinnell the rest of my life. Okay.
So what was it like growing up in Grinnell?
It was, a lot of times I tell people it's like Leave It to Beaver type of days. I know it wasn't that far back, but that's kind of how I liken it to. It was just it was really fun growing up in Grinnell. I mean, you had your friends in your neighborhood, and you rode bikes everywhere, made ramps and ramp bikes and climbed trees, and just didn't have a thing to worry about. You went home at the end of the night when mom yelled at you and you were within a couple blocks, you could hear her, and the city lights went down, and it was good small town living.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a sheriff's deputy with Poweshiek County.
Okay. So let's go back. When did you first realize you wanted to be in law enforcement?
A lot of people during interviews and stuff, they say they wanted to since they were a little kid, and I just wasn't that way. Never dreamed of being in law enforcement whatsoever. And I thought about the reserves. I was working at Maytag at the time, and it was kind of, some things were going on there where I knew that it was probably going to be career ending there. So a friend of mine, actually, John Wallace, he recommended I do a ride-along one night because he was a reserve officer, and I thought, well, that might be interesting, and went on a ride-along. And like I said, with the Leave It to Beaver days, it was kind of shocking, just a couple of the calls we went on. In fact, I told the officer, that happens here, and he was like, oh yeah, you just didn't realize that. And so after that ride along, I was interested in law enforcement, and it showed me a different aspect of things that were going on in my little hometown, so I wanted to get involved.
Okay. So what did you do to get involved? How did you start, and how did you lead into it?
Yeah, I think I did another ride along or two, and then I said, yeah, I want to do this, and went into the reserve program. Back then we had quite a few reserves, still do have a few reserves on here in Grinnell, and went into the reserve program. I was in that for 4 years. About the end of the 4 years, they were hiring again, and I put my hat in and got on with the PD. So I was with the PD full time for 5 years, and loved every minute of it. It's with the PD here, when I worked here, I got to be in the schools as a school resource officer. I was kind of their PR guy. Whenever we put on an event, I put it on, and it showed me a lot more, even in Grinnell, working with businesses for Shop with a Cop and things like that you really got a good feel for everything that was going on in Grinnell, and how everybody was giving when it came to Shop with a Cop with the businesses, and it's just even more appreciation for where you're living. So.
All right, yeah. How involved were you with Shop with a Cop?
Yeah, I put Shop with a Cop on, basically.
That's what I thought I read that. I wasn't sure, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they have quite a few things they do. Shop with a Cop, the Citizens Police Academy. That was another good thing. If somebody's interested in what goes on down here in Grinnell at the police department, that's a good thing to go through. You can do ride-alongs with them. They go through some training where, that's another program that I kind of put together. A former officer, Kerry Kinmoth, started it, and then yeah, I had a lot to do with that too after he got it going. So it's a good program if somebody's interested at all what we do down here and kind of get to see it firsthand. I'd highly recommend that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What other events did you work with?
I'm trying to think. We did Shop with a Cop, the Citizens Police Academy, National Night Out, where that's also a great one where we get to go out on National Night Out and we go to all the parks and have ice cream with everyone and get to see kids and give out some free little trinkets for them, and yeah, just kind of get to know your neighbors that kind of night. So.
Yeah, what were some good highs of your
Good highs
in your? I would say probably what 9 years like.
Yeah, it's been about 8 years actually.
Okay.
I left the Grinnell Police Department and took a job at the Sheriff's Office as a deputy, and we get to go out in a little bit more area and more towns and everything else, so you get to see a little bit more. And we still come into Grinnell and we assist them on calls, and yeah, some of the, it's back to that where it's surprising some of the things that go on, but then some of the things that are amazing are how people will help each other and some of the good things in Grinnell. So I it's kind of hard to put into words, but it's just amazing. You get to see both sides, and I think helping true victims of crimes is one of the big things that keeps me going, because that's why you get into the job. You really want to help people that had something bad happen to them in their life. So.
When did you switch over to the sheriff's office?
It would have been about 3 years ago. They had an opening, and like I say, it's a good department to work with. Kind of get to go out and do a lot of patrol at night, and you get the interstate, which the interstate is a blessing for Grinnell, and it's also kind of a curse. I mean, it's a blessing that we have it, and I think we get a lot more off the interstate that is good than bad, but there's also some bad that comes with that, and we get to assist troopers up there, and I can go up there and work too. But you do see a lot come off there that, I guess in my job that's kind of the negative, but
okay.
It's also, I think, Grinnell, it's a blessing because you've got quick access to the interstate. You're 50 miles to Des Moines if you want to go up to one of the bigger cities, and I think they probably get a lot more business opportunities being that close to the interstate, and a lot more traffic, and I'm sure it's helped Grinnell College, with people getting here for the college. And yeah, there's good and bad in everything, but I try to see the good in it all.
That's awesome that that you look at it from such a positive perspective.
Yeah, even though a lot of times I run into the bad, you try to always look at it for the positive. There's a lot of positive there, and that's same way with Grinnell. There's I know we don't want to get jaded, but a lot of times we go to calls that they're bad calls, and dealing with things that have happened to people. But like I say, I've also seen so much of the positive where people are willing to help out and do what they can, that you forget all that negative. So
that's good. So what would you say is like your favorite part about the job?
I like to run traffic. I like to make interactions with people positive. I hope all my interactions are positive with people. I guess they called me Officer Smiley when I was working in Grinnell, so I try to keep a smile on my face and go about doing the job. Sometimes it's hard if you have to write a ticket or something, but there's reasons why we do that, and I try to explain those reasons, and I hope people understand, I guess, at the end of it, you know, whatever interaction, they kind of understand why we do our job and walk away with something positive out of it. So.
What impact do you feel like you make on Grinnell?
Well, I guess job-wise, I hope they think I was fair with them, understanding. You know, I think there's so many people that make an impact here. Like I say, going even back to Smiling, just people around town here. I've talked to a lot of people that have come through town, and they're like, it's such a nice town. People are happy. They smile. They say hello. I don't think a lot of cities get that, especially some of the bigger ones. And I think that's why people like Grinnell so much. And I guess I hope, you know, if I made an impact on somebody's life when they're at their lowest, that just does everything for me. You know, that's what keeps me going in my job. And I know other officers and deputies too. It's why they do it. They wanna help people out. They will change people's lives, so, you know, for the better. So if I can do that, at the end of the day, I'm happy. And when I worked at Grinnell, I was a school resource officer, and I hope maybe you know, just talking to a kid someday and hopefully setting them on the right path, maybe, you know, that's I guess what I hope I take away from it, and people take that away too, that maybe I tried to help them at one time. And yeah.
Okay. What does a school resource officer do, like, specifically? As someone who probably, I never actually met one.
Well, school resource officers, each town has a little bit different. Some of them are full-time, that's their job. Here in Grinnell, it was a little bit hard budgeting-wise for that. So we did our patrol plus our other collaterals, but I had a school resource opportunity to take that and wanted to get involved in that. So with Grinnell, we try to get into the schools as much as we can. You know, even anybody that's out on patrol tries to stop by the school and do a walkthrough and be seen. And with mine, it would be a little bit more detailed when I was in it. You know, if they had a problem with a student, or if they came across anything illegal there in the school, they'd call me and I'd come out and try to handle it for them. So.
Do you have any specific moments, like, that you remember as a school resource officer, like maybe you impacted someone in a good way, or
yeah,
anything?
I think one in particular, one student that I got to meet, at first it was a little bit rocky, but kept talking to her, and you know, which that's normal with a lot of people that are having some problem in their life, and it's usually not what you really think the problem is. It's usually something totally different, and if you can just get to that, you know, and try to help them solve that, you've done it. But yeah, one particular girl got to, and it wasn't just me. Another officer is really working hard to kind of change her life, and she did a complete turnaround, and I knew, really smart student, and just, yeah, totally did a flip. And like I say, I don't take credit for that, but I know another officer that was working with her, and I think that, you know, between the two of us, we kind of were positive with her, you know, got her set on the right track, and it was kind of amazing to see it. You don't always get that, but yeah, that was a good outcome. So.
What do you want someone to take from this if you're representing like the police department and stuff? You know what I mean? Or police officers in general. Like as a police officer,
Yeah.
what do you hope people will take from this?
Just that we're human too. We make mistakes. You know, it's a job, but it's one of those jobs that you don't just go and punch in and clock out on. We take this job home with us. Sometimes it can kind of eat on you, and we got into this job just to make Grinnell a safer place. You know, I've explained at the Citizens Police Academy before. We wear a badge, and really my description of that badge is I want to shield the public, shield them from all the negativity and all the bad things. So, you know, with Grinnell, it's a great town, has a lot of great people, but it's one of those things where we try to shield the bad so that they don't see that. And, you know, I guess I've even been wandering on. I don't even remember the question, but that's kind of what I want people to understand is, you know, we're out there just trying to make things better for the public, and if we can do that, we've accomplished our job. Like I say, if I can shield them from knowing what is going on in town that's bad, I've done my job. So.
What is it that you love about Grinnell?
Grinnell. Well, I'm kind of biased because like I say, I've lived here all my life. I like people who I've come in contact with from out of state. That just it's a friendly city. It's one that you can go into, and they've got activities going. I mean, Friday Fest, I went down to the last one and sat there and had a great night. There's just music in the park. They've got so many things that you can do coming to this town, you know, and it just, I think that they've kept this town up good, and the businesses downtown, I think that's a great thing. You know, want to support them because they are very giving. I can't go on enough about, you know, all the business people downtown and everything, and Walmart and everything that always contributed to our programs. And like I say, I think if you were to come into this town, you know, and you stayed at a hotel and just wandered around downtown and took in some of the things to do down there, it's amazing. A lot of towns are kind of dying downtown, and we're pretty fortunate that we have, you know, great parks, great town, and I'm being so positive, but maybe one day we'll get our roads fixed. But that's also another thing I told somebody the other day, though, is you know, at least we're fixing our roads. I've been in some towns where they don't have the budget, or they don't do it. So, you know, but yeah, that's what I guess what I like about the town. There's just a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of things to do here. So. I should also say, Cornell, I have a wife and I've got 3 kids, and you know, we maybe had some opportunity to leave Grinnell. I've never really thought about it much, but we definitely, the schools here are top notch, and the staff. That's really one reason I want to have my kids in Grinnell schools. I think it's important, and you know, I went through the Grinnell school system, but after being a school resource officer and everything, and like I say, Grinnell schools, I definitely want my kids to go there. I'd say that's probably another reason why people move here. They've got a good school system, yeah, we're also lucky to have a good hospital here. That's also a good bonus. So.
What's it like being a father and a husband in this career path?
It's good. I've always had real good support from my wife, which you really need in this. You know, it's kind of one of those jobs where I think divorce rate can be pretty high in, but I have really good support there, and she's been real positive with me being an officer, and the kids are supportive, and actually I think my girl probably wants to go into this career path one day. So yeah, it can be tough though too, because you don't get to go to a lot of their events. I work nights. Even when you were working days, a lot of times you'd miss out on some things that they were doing. But yeah, it's as long as you got the support there, and I do. It's doable. It's not hard. It's just you miss out on some of the things. Weekends, we work every other weekend, whether you're a PD officer or with the sheriff's office, and so that's kind of one of those things you have to think about too. Getting into law enforcement is you're just not going to be around as much. So.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed Rodney's interview. If you did, hit a like down below. Throw me a comment on some of your good interactions with the Grinnell Police Department. Also, feel free to check out the Citizens Police Academy program and Shop with a Cop later on. Please share this out with your friends. Go on to Facebook and Twitter and follow us. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Up next, we are actually going to be interviewing Jake Simon of the Jake Simon Band. Bye.